If we can get everybody seated, it would be great. Our team members up here. So the little clock up on the wall says 6:30. I'm really grateful to see so many people here tonight. We are going to go till 8:30, okay? We start on time, we'll end on time. Most of us will stay around afterwards. And I've got some things I want to talk to you about, the kind of ground rules that we do tonight. But we're really here in the spirit of a journey of learning, if you will, and I'm not trying to be cute with those words. We're here to learn from you. So we're going to try to get to everybody, and I'm going to talk about the ground rules in a little bit because we're here to answer questions, and having just worked through the crowd with a number of you, this is going to be a very interesting evening. But before that, I want to make a few introductions and get a couple of things out of the way. we want to start this off with a poulet tonight, and I want to bring up our HBD chaplain, Clarence DeCaren. Where's Clarence? Is he here? Here you are, sir. Okay. Thank you. You're going to bless this whole crowd. I need a blessed crowd tonight. Thank you, Chaplain.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Epulikako. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, the God of power, wisdom, and love, we gather here this evening in your name to accomplish your work with confidence in your constant guidance and inspiration. We praise you and thank you for all those that are here, including Mayor Rick Blangiardi and my boss, Deputy Chief Keith Horikawa, and all those that are present in this cafeteria. Relying on your eternal wisdom, we ask you to inspire us and to the point in us to serve us in the right direction as a community. We ask you to help us to be men and women to dare the dream you dream by giving us fortitude. Fortitude that we need to help build the city and county of Honolulu, bursting with a promise to respect one another as you love us. We ask you tonight to give us wisdom and determination to act responsibly and compassionately in this world, especially in Hawaii. We ask your blessings on night's end to keep us safe as we journey home to our loved ones. We ask this in your holy name, and together we say, Amen. Mayor? Your daughter.
Yeah, thank you, Chaplain. Thank you. Thank you. We're off to a great start. So, just some quick introductions. We're here. Council Chair Tommy Waters is here tonight. Okay, round of applause. State Senator Stanley Chang. I didn't see Senator Chang. Did he come in? No? How about Senator Ihara, Les Ihara? Is he here? Not yet. Okay. State Representatives, Mark Hashem is here. I see Mark right there. Yes. How are you? And then I think we're going to be joined by Jean Ward. Jean, are you in the building? Not yet. And Bertrand Kobayashi? No. Okay. One of the things that we're really proud about that we've done early on was we set up a youth commission because we wanted to give them full exposure and involvement because so much of the work we do is really about our future. So we have, I believe, two of them that are here tonight. Is Daniel Pruder here? Daniel, are you here? All right, Daniel, come on up here. And Ella Matsui, is she here? Good. All right, less than 5 minutes, a couple of minutes each. We're really proud of these young people. Want to give you a chance. We'll start off with you, Ella. Just talk a little bit about what you're doing and who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Ella Matsui. I am your district's representative on the Youth Commission. I was appointed by Council Chair Waters a little over a year and a half ago, and I am serving in the second year of my first term. A few of the projects that I've been passionate about and took on while the commission have to do with gender and education equality. I am also interning currently for Senator Stanley Chang, who is also this district's senator. And with him, I've been learning a lot about the housing crisis and his plans to solve it. If you have any questions or topics that you would like me to bring up at our next commission meeting, I will be hanging around afterwards if you want to come talk to me.
Hi, thank you. My name is Daniel Pruder, and I currently serve as the chair of the Honolulu Youth Commission. I'm very thankful to the mayor's office for making it possible for youth commissioners to come to his town halls to speak. So I also serve as the commissioner for District 5, which includes Macaulay, Waikiki, Manoa, and other parts. So in terms of the Youth Commission, if you don't know much about it, we were created in 2020 through ballot initiative, and it was created and added to the Honolulu Charter. So the goal of the Youth Commission is to give young people a voice in government and to allow young people to really have input on how lawmakers make decisions in their life. So in terms of some initiatives that the Youth Commission has passed recently, some of the most notable are pushes for free community college, which is currently an issue being discussed at the Hawaii State Legislature. And in terms of something that at least I am very interested to start talking about future meetings is trying to introduce an internship program at the City and County of Honolulu for young people to have the chance to intern with department heads and council members so that they can have that experience. Because right now an issue that a lot of young people currently face is that of high cost of living and affordable housing. So by giving young people a voice and the ability to talk and to hopefully introduce more opportunities for young people, we can get them to stay instead of go to the mainland. So once again, I'd like to thank the mayor's office for allowing us to speak. And if you have any questions, be sure to go to the next Honolulu Youth Commission meeting, which is next Tuesday, April 18th. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Ella. Thank you. You know, I hope you won't think I'm presumptuous, but I just got up here and welcomed you without saying, my name is Rick Blangiardi. I have the privilege of being the mayor of the city and county of Honolulu. What I'd like to do next is we brought our cabinet, and this is our 5th meeting, and I'll talk about that after they do their introductions. But we brought our cabinet for a purpose. I said a couple moments ago, this is a journey of learning for us. Not every one of these men and women up here may get asked a direct question tonight, but this is our 5th town hall. And we started out at Ewa Makai, went to Waianae, we were in Waipahu, and last week in Mililani. And as close as some of those districts might be, I can assure you that each one was different in tone, questions, etc. So that said, we suspect tonight will be even more different or very different from that experience. But we're all here to learn from you. And so I'm going to talk about the ground rules of this after we start. But I'm going to start off over here, giving Amy the microphone, and we'll just go through and we can do it from over here. Okay?
You want to start?
We'll just,
The unstandable.
Hey, good evening, Lori Kahikina, Executive Director and CEO of HEART, the rail.
Hi, aloha. I'm Rick Keene. I'm the Deputy Director at HEART.
Ted Burke, Early Childhood Resource Coordinator with Department of Community Services.
Aloha, I'm Amy Osselby. I'm with the city's Office of Economic Revitalization.
Aloha and good evening. I'm Denise Iseri Matsubara. I'm the new director for the Office of Housing and Homelessness. This is my 2nd week on the job, so thank you.
Aloha, good evening. I'm Kalani High, Fire Chief of the Honolulu Fire Department.
Aloha, Hiro Toya. I'm the Director for the Department of Emergency Management. We coordinate the city's preparedness, response, and recovery from disasters.
Aloha, Ernie Lau, Board of Water Supply. Ola Ikawai.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Erwin Kawata. I'm the Deputy Manager at the Board of Water Supply.
Aloha, Jerry Papillo, Director of Enterprise Services. We handle the Blaisdell, 6 municipal golf courses, and the Honolulu Zoo. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bugs Baggio, Assistant Director of Human Resources. If you don't know we're hiring, please see me. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Haku Millis. I'm the Director for the Department of Design and Construction.
Aloha, good evening. My name is Matt Gonzer, and I serve as the Executive Director for the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency.
Aloha and good evening. My name is Edward Los Baños, Deputy Director for the Department of Community Services. We manage a lot of the grant funds, federal grant funds that touch nonprofits and community services. Thank you.
Aloha, I'm Roger Morton. I'm Director of Transportation Services. We're responsible for the public transportation systems on Oahu, traffic safety, traffic engineering, and more importantly, I'm a proud graduate of Kalani High School.
That's tough to follow, man. Lloyd Yoninaka, Executive Secretary for Neighborhood Commission. And I just want to ask, do we have any neighborhood board members here? Thank you for being here. And more importantly, thank you for serving on the board.
Aloha, my name is Jiro Sumada. I'm the Deputy Director for the Department of Planning and Permitting.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm the luckiest guy in the cabinet because I have the opportunity to work with Mayor and oversee all the departments. I'm Mike Formby, the Managing Director, and I'm in Kaimuki, so I'm glad to be here tonight. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Krishna Jayaram. I'm the Deputy Managing Director. Thank you for being here, and thank you for having us.
Aloha, everyone. Sam Moku, Chief of Staff for Mayor.
Aloha, my name is Jim Ireland. I'm the Director of the Honolulu Emergency Services Department. We have ocean safety lifeguards, EMS, ambulance service, and now the community medicine or CORE program aimed at helping our homeless population.
Hi, good evening. Ian Santi. I'm the Deputy Director for the Honolulu Emergency Services Department.
Aloha, Keith Orikawa, Deputy Chief HPD. Honored to be here.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I am Brian Lynch. I'm the Major of District 7, which is our community here that we're sharing tonight. Thank you.
Aloha, good evening. I'm Roger Babcock, Director of Department of Environmental Services. We take care of sanitation, that's wastewater and refuse. Thanks.
Aloha, everybody. I'm Donna Puna, DPP Director. Thank you for having us.
Aloha, everyone. Warren Mamizuka, Deputy Director, Facility Maintenance. We take care of all the roads, street lights, public buildings, streams, and median strips. Thank you, and thank you for having us. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Stephen Courtney, Deputy Director for the Department of Information Technology. We provide the IT services to all these departments, and we also provide a number of applications to the public. And please pick up a flyer, because the one I'd like to really use is the HNL.311. That's where if you have a problem with a pothole or broken street light, please use that application. Mahalo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Hashiro. I'm the Director for the Department of Customer Services. Our department includes the DMV, satellite city halls, and public communication.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Laura Thielen. I'm the Director for the City and County Department of Parks and Recreation, We manage the parks, the beach rights-of-way, but also the Division of Urban Forestry with the street trees and the botanical gardens.
Aloha, Andy Kawano, Director of Budget and Fiscal Services. Sorry about my voice. I'm another proud graduate of Kalani High School, 78.
Thank you. And just by way of quick introduction, we have several other people from the city, but our communications team is here tonight. Scott Humber, Ian Shuring, Molly Pierce, Brandy Higa. Okay. So just kind of the ground rules, okay? First of all, we're recording this tonight, and we're recording it because what we've done over the last 4 weeks is we make sure that we do the follow-up necessary, and to make sure we get back to people if we say we're going to do that. The other reason why the cabinet is here tonight, and we'll talk about them in a moment, is because I wanted to bring the expertise to you here tonight, as opposed to saying, we'll get back to you. Any questions we can't answer tonight, we will, and if we can't for some reason answer them, we will get back to you. But I brought the right people here to make the contact with you, and we'll do that follow-up. And on that, I give you my word. Okay, so with respect to the questions, there are no ground rules. You can ask us anything you want. I ask that you be professional, as we will be with you. Okay, I also ask that, and I already know from talking to a number of you in the crowd, there are subjects tonight that are going to get discussed that are very passionate to you and to a lot of other people, okay? Well, we respect that, and we're aware of that. We live with that. But what we want to do is at the end of the night, make sure we answered as many questions as possible. And as I said earlier, we're going to start on time, we're going to end on time. We want this to be a very worthwhile experience for you. Our goal is when you leave here tonight, you felt like that was worth the 2 hours I spent, and you felt good about it, okay? So with that, I reserve the right, because I get to be the moderator here, and I'll do it nicely, but no long speeches up here. We're not up here to filibuster. We're up here to answer questions. So you can state it if you want to make a case for your argument on what you want to say. I'll certainly give you the opportunity to do that, but really it's about getting to the question. And I think that's in all fairness to everybody. And then if we run out of questions to be asked, we can take a different course. But so far, in the first 4, when it ended, we got through everybody, but there was nothing but questions, and it felt very good for us, and we want it to feel very good for you. Is that fair? Okay? All right. Yes, we're going to answer it here. But from Land Division, you're talking about Department of Land Management? Well, Kat Thatcher was supposed to be here tonight, and she's the acting director. She's not here right now. But Mike is going to handle that, managing director. Yeah, we're not here to duck any questions, okay? So to the extent, though, we can answer it, we will. There may be something, I don't know what's going to get asked. I have a hunch on some things. I have a hunch right here. But this is what we want. That's the reason why we're doing this. We're going to do 11 of these, okay? And I don't care what's been done before. We're not here to criticize the past. But on your behalf, and what we're trying to do is create a future. And I could not be more proud of the men and women behind me, because I've worked now with them for over 2 years. I know their passion, I know their commitment, and I know the challenges we all face together in trying to solve the problems that for many years have plagued our city. They're not easy, so please know that, understand that. But a forum like this is terrific, so let's get on with it. First guy up, first woman up, whomever wants to show up and ask the first question, this is the microphone. What I don't think we need to do tonight, just so you know, is form a line, because that's going to just block people. Don't worry, we'll be polite about it, we'll get you up here. If you stand in line, it doesn't mean you're not going to get asked your question. I'm just going to tell you that, but nobody ever listens to this. They like to form a line. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to help the people there who might not be able to see around you. That's all, okay? All right, go ahead. And if you would be kind enough to state your name first, okay?
Aloha, my name is Mia Lisa Otis. My dad lives in Āina Haina, and I am from Waimanalo, and I'm here to talk about Wailupe. We've been trying to save the infant burial caves, protect them, and be stewards of this property since February. The landowner has been very cooperative, and actually we were all on board. In fact, we had a meeting tomorrow with the Department of Land Management, and it was canceled just this afternoon, like around 3 o'clock. It's just boom. So I want to know why Wailupe is not on the agenda yet. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Formby, Managing Director. So I'll just tell you this. My knowledge of the issue, Kat Tashner is the Acting Director of the Department of Land Management. She's fantastic. The issue has been whether or not we have the archaeological studies to support the investment of taxpayer funds. And other than that, we have no issue against protecting burial caves. In fact, we support protecting burial caves, but we're going through a process of making sure we've done our due diligence. So when it comes to investing taxpayer funds in the procurement of this property, acquisition of this property, that it's documented and supported. So Kat is out sick. She was going to be here tonight, but unfortunately she's sick tonight. I'd like to get your name and your number and let's talk, because we can definitely meet and work through this. We are invested in protecting our cultural heritage, burial caves, things of that nature, and we have no interest in doing anything otherwise. So I'd like to give you my card, and then let's talk about getting together. And Kat is out sick tonight. That's the only reason she's not here.
Never in the history of preservation has an AIS been required. So it's in a discussion that they need proof, and this is what I was going to go over at the meeting. They want proof that this is a historical place, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you guys, and we do not need an AIS. Mahalo.
Sorry, I appreciate that, and I understand that, and let's talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia.
Hi, I'm Amanda McCann, and I'm a longtime resident in Niu Valley. Last week, my home was burglarized, and I posted it on Nextdoor and found I'm the four families, including myself, that were also burglarized by the same woman. We all have the video of it. We know her name, we know her address. We made our police reports. 4 days later, the detective called me. I'm here to bring awareness about this. She drives a silver Infiniti. She's in our neighborhood. She's in her early 50s or 40s. She just looks like she's popping by, goes in your side doors, and totally ransacks the whole house. So I'd like to know why, if 4 of us know who did it, and she was arrested a few weeks ago in Kailua, you probably know who I'm talking about, why has no action been taken? Why is she not in jail?
Okay.
So I'd just like to give you my card, and
Yeah.
I'd like to I'd just like everybody to know that there's, just a random.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Amanda, Keith, okay.
Hi, Brian Lynch again. I'm again the commander, so that's my question.
Sure.
Thanks for the question. I am not familiar with your exact case, so I don't want to tell you something that isn't.
Of course.
So if you would like, meet me after, or you could meet my team members back there, leave your name. Oh,
I brought a card.
Can I do this? Is this okay? Yeah. All right. I will look into it and I'll get back to you. As far as your question, as far as why she hasn't been arrested, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was told that she had to be caught in the act, or it had to be within 63 hours after the detective.
Okay, so we're talking about rules,
Yeah.
right? And so we operate under certain rules that aren't our rules. And
But how is the community safe if they have to wait for this woman to be in their actual house to be arrested?
yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
And so,
there should be enough evidence for you to have a search warrant to go into her house. I can give you her address. She's easy to find.
okay.
I'm not personally going to go there.
No, I get it, and I understand your frustration. I
Yeah.
get it, but there's so many other things going on,
Thank
and
you.
we just can't go grabbing people off the street, right? But
Well,
from
at her
what
house.
you're saying, it sounds like we should, right? So
Yeah,
we'll look
you
into
should.
that, and I
You
can
should.
get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's not the answer you want, right? I get it. So we're going to talk. Yeah. All right, why don't you give them the real answer? I would prefer we give these people the real answer, okay?
So not like that was the fake answer, but the answer I think you're looking for is why is this lady not arrested? So I can't really, I can guess because I don't know the whole story. And so for us, we operate under rules and policies that we work with the prosecutor's office with. And what we do is we package the case and we bring it to the prosecutor's office. And if the prosecutor doesn't want to accept the case, and I'm not trying to pass the buck, but that's the prosecutor's office. So having said that, again, I don't know the specifics of your case. I get the gravity of the situation, as nobody likes to know that somebody's roaming their neighborhood, breaking in the houses. I mean, nobody wants that. We don't want that. And the first thing we want to do is lock somebody up. Trust me, that's what we want.
And I'm not putting blame on HPD, but I would like to see some shifting in funding, or if the prosecutors need more support. Like, I mean, this seems like a pretty big fat duh if we know where she is. And
I think that's a legitimate question, and we share the same frustrations as you.
Yeah.
But that's on us, because that's our job, right?
That's why
and so
I'm here.
we're working on it. You know, I wish I could say it's perfect, but it's not. But doesn't mean it can't get better. So yeah, I'd like to call you, contact you, or my team members, and we'll definitely get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And I don't want to usurp HPD in any way, shape, or form, but I want that information. Okay? And let me just say one thing. Every one of these people up here has got a really challenging job. And we're all together trying to push a lot of rocks up the hill at the same time. We didn't line them up and said one at a time. We've gone at it across the board. But if there's anything in my book, just so you know where I come from, it's more equal than the rest, it's the subject of public safety. Okay? So that's a hot button with me as well. And we're trying to do as much as we can. I do think we've formed a good relationship in this now the last year with our new chief of police, the prosecutor's office, and even the judiciary. But we're not satisfied right now with the enforcement. I will tell you that. So I understand what's happening here. And at least we'll give you the straight skinny. Sir.
Hi, I'm Kevin Mulkern. I'm a gardener, a tree hugger, and I really appreciate the fact that you've, I think, identified this as Earth Month. Past administrations have hoped to have 30% tree coverage in the urban area. And I've seen the work you've done kind of with filter socks in front of storm drains. I do use the 311 app, so thank you. My concern, though, being a tree hugger, the last 3 trees that I took pictures of and sent in the GPS location on the 311 app, I was trying to get them help. One of the trees was about 40 years old, and it was a blue a jacaranda tree. Another one was a pink Tacoma. A third one was a carrot wood. And in each of those cases, I was hoping to get help from the city's arborist. In all cases, the trees were cut to ground level. Made no sense. Inconsistent with, I guess, what's being advocated by the city as far as tree coverage. So.
Yeah, that is inconsistent. Anybody here want to take a shot at that? Who cut down the trees? Laura? Here we go. Laura didn't, I'm not saying Laura cut down the trees.
Okay.
But I'll bring up Laura. I'll give you a straight answer. And anybody who introduces themselves as a tree hugger, my hat off to you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. So, thank you, Kevin. We go back a number of years. The City Division of Urban Forestry does everything it can to preserve trees. They do not lightly remove any street trees. And in fact, we work with a lot of residents to educate them on the value of trees and why you want to keep them, because we'll get a number of complaints about leaves dropping or seeds. So I will go back and double check with these 3, because I recall that complaint coming in. But I think if Duff did take that action, it was probably because there was some problem with those trees. We do have funding to be able to plant trees, and so we've restarted that. We do have a plan to increase tree canopy cover, and thanks to the support of the mayor, we've tapped into some federal funds to support that, and are going to be working with community organizations, especially on the leeward coast where it tends to be hotter, to be training people to be tree ambassadors, planting cultural trees in private property where they can take care of them. And we have a new chief of urban forestry that's going to be starting. We stole her from University of Hawaii. She was instrumental in getting the UH campus certified as an arboretum, one of the few in the world. And so she'll be starting at urban forestry in a week and a half. So we look forward to continuing to grow that program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
Hi. I appreciate the opportunity to go early because I have a 5- and 2-year-old that are very angry that I'm here right now.
Okay.
My name is Kainoa Kaku. I'm the president of the Hawaii Rifle Association.
What's your first name?
Kainoa.
Kainoa.
And most importantly, I am also a 2002 graduate of Kalani High School. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
How's it feel to be back in the cafeteria?
It's weird, man. It's weird. I had to come here to get some paperwork at the office a couple years ago, and that was weird too. But my main question is, when are the shooting bays going to be open at Koko Head Range? I'm here as a representative of our thousands of dues-paying members and even more gun owners. So, number one, when are the shooting bays? This is not the public range, not the pistol range, not the rifle range. And I'll talk about why that's useless to us. But when will the shooting bays be open for club usage?
I have dates in my head, but I'd rather have you hear from Laura Thielen.
So thank you for your patience. As you know, the range was shut down in September, partly for a backstop restoration project and partly because we did find that there were elevated blood levels in some of our staff. We have brought in a national expert to take a look at the range. We've been making improvements. April 29th, Saturday, April 29th, we'll be reopening the pistol and the rifle range for public use. As part of the improvements, we did have to take down the CMU wall that was separating the pistol and rifle range because that was about to fall over. So we now have to operate those two ranges as a single range for ceasefire because there's no barricade between the two ranges. So we're going to reopen with a reservation system and to manage the people coming in so we can do an orientation and make sure that we can reopen safely under those new operational procedures. We've fixed the roof, the eyebrow, we're bringing in a hand washing station. Food and drink will no longer be allowed up on the shooting line because the expert had told us that may have been one of the sources for the lead contamination, that people would get it on their hands and then eat food. So we have a number of new practices and we look forward to welcoming you back to the range. We're also working, HPD is doing some improvements on their side. As soon as they're done with their improvements, they will be able to reopen their range. We've met with the Silhouette Club. There's some improvements that need to go in there, and so we're working with them on that. And then we've met with the Skeet and Trap Club, and there are some concerns about that area, so we're working with them to address those. And then lastly, Department of Public Safety is making some improvements to the portion of the range that they traditionally use.
Okay, well, I guess then my question is more towards HPD, because as I said, the public pistol and rifle range are all but useless now. Our main concern, or the biggest question, or most asked question that I get from my members is, when are you going to be able to teach the CCW class? The pistol range is not equipped for us to teach that class because thanks to HPD's new rules, and the proficiency test, all the ranges that are required for us to teach the class are not available at the public pistol range. It can only be taught at the HPD side, at the shooting bays.
Okay, so HPD is finishing up making some of the physical improvements that the range safety expert required, and once they're done with that, they'll be able to reopen their side. We have fixed the targets, the mobile targets on the pistol side, and we have fixed some of the things on the rifle range side, so but I don't know the technical details of what the shooting that you're talking about.
So do our friends at HPD have an idea of when the shooting bays will be open, since they're the ones in charge of the improvement?
How's it going? Again, Deputy Chief Keith Horikawa, HPD.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, so again, we do have some improvements that we're doing to the range, more so for some of the structures that are there, some of the logs that we have to get rid of, and there's a OSHA process that we have to do. It's taking a little bit of time. But besides that, so for me, just not to make excuses, but I'm on the field operations side, so I'm in charge of the patrol investigative units. Our other deputy chief has the administrative side, which includes the range and training facilities. So I'll follow up with him, and I'll get your name, and I can get that information back to you on that one. But we're assuming that right now, because of the improvements, might be about a couple of months before that portion gets squared away.
Yeah, that's concerning because we cannot teach the CCW class, and we have hundreds and hundreds of people that want to take it. And again, it's because of rules that you guys just passed as of November, right? So to me, it would make sense since this is a public issue, for us to be able to teach this safety course, if while you're doing improvements on the public side in the pistol range, maybe we should add those ranges that are required for us to teach the class so that people can actually get the certification and training required to apply for their CCW licenses.
Got it. You know, I understand your concerns. Again, I'll take that back to our admin side, and meanwhile, I'll get your information. We can provide you the details on that.
Got it.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kainoa. Kainoa, make sure you give me your information. We'll have Chief Vanek call you tomorrow. Okay? We just were joined by one of our directors who was at his neighborhood board meeting. I'm just going to walk over, give him the microphone, have him introduce himself. I think many of you might even know him.
Thank you, Mayor. Anton Krucke, Director of Department of Community Services. So we work on all the housing solutions with providers, service providers, and then we also work on homeless solutions.
Thank you, Anton. So team, Scott has informed me, I'm going to keep this microphone. If you come up to answer anything, use that one, okay? Good? Fair? Good. Sir.
Hi, my name is Phil Raposa.
Phil?
Phil, yes. Just to add on to Kainoa's point, I know part of the issue for the range was shutting down for health reasons, for possible lead in the blood. But there was no real monitoring done for that. Why can't we open the range to pre-COVID days, start the testing? Ever since COVID has been around, we have been so restricted on the range. Hours have been cut. We used to be able to, after having a shooting match as a fundraiser for the food bank and things, have a little potluck on the range. Now they close the range 15 minutes after we're done shooting. Now the range, you have a limited time of shooting and you have to immediately leave the range. So there is no enjoying the park. So I'd like to find out why this is and why can't we go back to pre-COVID days and start the testing there to see if there is actual serious hazards in the air.
Laura, you want to take a shot at that? Look, the intel that I got from the Department of Health was there were serious conditions in the air and that they had done the monitoring, which is what led to that. But I'll let Laura take a shot at this.
Is this on? This is not on. All right, I think it is on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the pistol and rifle range is opening Saturday, April 29th. It's going to be open on the weekends, and we're going to do a reservation system for two reasons. One is we need, as I mentioned, because those two ranges are going to be operating as a single range, and that's a big change in operations. We want to make sure that we can get people in, get familiar with that and oriented so that we can keep everyone safe. You don't want somebody walking forward on the rifle range to change a target and somebody started shooting on the pistol range when there's no wall in between the two ranges anymore. So the other reason that we're going to have limited hours on the weekends only is our two range masters have decided to retire. So we're looking for new range masters. We do have contract staff, so we'll be able to reopen part-time with the contract staff. As far as the changes go, we have done air testing at the range. So we had people wearing air monitors while they were doing weed whacking, mowing, while they were doing the work on the back berm and bringing the heavy equipment across the field, and while they were doing the carpentry work on the eyebrow. No lead was detectable in the air. So the assumption is where there was blood lead levels, that it was due to touching things and then touching your mouth. And that, according to the range expert we brought in, that was normal. So that's another reason why there should be no food up top. You can go down to where the comfort station is, and there's picnic tables down there, and you can eat and drink down there safely, and then you don't have to worry about the lead contamination. We recommend you wash your hands after leaving the range before you go down there, but that would be acceptable.
But to use the picnic bench, it would only be in the time that you are signed up for, right? Because we have to leave the range as soon as our time is up.
Let me double check with the staff. I know when we close, we ask people to leave, but I think what they meant is leave the firing line. So if you want to go down to the comfort station in that field there, I think that would be okay. Because in that report,
it was leave the facility.
Okay, let me double check and I can get back to you. So can I get over to the side some contact information?
Part of, like I said, is to back up Kainoa's saying is that we don't hardly use the rifle and pistol range. We use the action bays where the police department trains. We have club shoots there. We have benefit shoots there. We raise a lot of money for the food bank and all these other community. We can't do that anymore.
So when we went in to fix the range after this happened, because it was not a budgeted item and none of us are really prepared for it, we worked out an arrangement with HPD and with Department of Public Safety and with the other clubs, is that each entity would take responsibility for the improvements that were needed in their location. So HPD is taking on the improvements that are needed on their side of the range, and Department of Parks and Recreation is fixing the public pistol and rifle range. And we are happy to work with people to accommodate them as best we can while they're waiting on the other areas to open up.
So you're saying that you want the clubs and stuff to pay for the remediation of the ranges and the repairs?
On the HPD side, they're taking care of the HPD ranges. Honolulu Police Department is taking care of the ranges that they manage, which I think involves the bays you're talking about, but I don't know. So if you want, we can talk on the side and I can make sure that I get accurate information to you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Laura. You know, just maybe for your interest, because I would be willing to bet that those of you who own businesses or have businesses or frequent businesses have, and we've all had to deal with this in this post-COVID environment, where staffing issues are serious and they're real. Just yesterday, we hosted for free a job fair, if you will, for all the graduating high school seniors. We had a lot of schools there. It was really well turned out. We had 80 of the top companies. And I walked around and met with a lot of those companies. And it was amazing to me, companies before that you would have to call auntie to get to uncle to know somebody who could get maybe somebody an interview were there with long list of people they were looking for. I've never seen anything like that before. And in talking to those companies, they all acknowledged the fact that it was unprecedented for them. So when we came into office, nobody talked about it during the campaign. We walked into 3,000 vacancies at the city and county. And Bugs made a comment up here tonight when he introduced himself, and he got a small chuckle about we're looking for people, but I'm telling you, we're looking for people, okay? And I'm not making any excuses. I'm not apologizing. But across the board, some of our services have been hampered because we just don't have the people to do it, and that's a reality. So we're really aggressive in all of our recruiting. So, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Susan Imai. I'm also a graduate of Kalani. And
Hey, Susan.
I may have all these guys beat when I graduated, but I want to bring up something near and dear to my heart is protecting children. I lived in LA for a few decades and I came back and I said, oh my God, I'm from Kaimuki and I live there now in my childhood home. And I'm shocked of how things have changed. And I would like to know how can I get sidewalks built on my street, which goes from Wailupe School to Kaimuki Middle School. And I drive really slow on my street, but a lot of people don't get it, that there's children dodging the cars. They're giving the car, I mean,
Why haven't we built the sidewalks yet in the 30 years you were away?
No, 40.
40.
I was
Okay.
away 40 years.
Yeah.
I remember why we don't have any, but.
I know a lot of neighborhoods that don't want sidewalks, but I understand your question.
No,
Who up here-
I don't want to hurt anybody, you know, I mean.
All right.
So who do I?
I've got the guy for you, Roger Moore. Did you go to school with Roger?
I don't know. When did you graduate?
Kalani.
Yeah, okay.
Sidewalks, you know, we have over 600 miles of roadways that need sidewalks on the island. We've prioritized 110 miles. That is, you know, that is more than $100 million worth of priority for that. We haven't had sidewalks built in Honolulu except for assessment districts where people agree to pay more in their neighborhood with property taxes in over probably 2 generations. So we've taken it on ourselves to start building sidewalks again in Honolulu. We're doing it with federal funding that's now available through the IIJA. We haven't got the funding yet, but we do have applications in. But as I say, with 110 miles of sidewalk, we're prioritizing areas that are in the greatest need. Those are near schools. Those are in areas like that. They are there's lots of neighborhoods around town that are woefully short of sidewalks. And so we're trying to prioritize them in a fair and an equitable way.
Thank you, Roger.
I mean, I just wanted to speak my mind.
Okay.
Because I raised my 2 children in LA, but I am now helping raise my 2 grandchildren.
Well, I'm glad you came back.
And so I'm happy to come back.
Yeah.
I wanted to come back, but okay, nothing's perfect. I understand that. For heaven's sakes, I lived in LA for almost 40 years.
Nothing's
And-
perfect about LA.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But it was good to me and my family. I bought a home, I bought another home, and I was able to buy my sister out
Okay.
of her share. So
All right.
there's good things about everything. There really is. But I want to protect my grandchildren. And
Sure.
one child killed is too much, or one child hurt is too much, is all I'm saying.
Well,
Okay?
we agree with that. I mean, let's be fair here. We absolutely agree with that, and I hope you would think we wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah, but
There are 8,000 streets on this island. I don't know how many of them have sidewalks and don't, but if you're going to bring that up and put that on us, that's not fair. Because you just heard the circumstances just
No,
now.
I did.
Okay, so be fair about
But
it.
this is why I came to speak my piece.
Okay, well,
because
we
most
heard you.
people don't
And I
say
said at the
anything.
beginning, I wasn't going to use this microphone for speeches tonight. So you've been heard. I appreciate it. I thank you. We're doing the best we can.
Okay, and I want to say thank you to Ernie Lau because I have held my sign at radio.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Wow.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I don't know if I can.
You can turn it down. You can turn the microphone down. If you lower it, yeah, there you go. Yep. Yes.
Hi, my name is Lauren Abesil, and I am a 3rd grader at Wilson Elementary School. I take tennis classes at the park. My coach told us that we may have to stop our classes soon because our courts will be made into pickleball courts. When I first heard this, it made me really sad. I even cried. I really enjoy playing tennis because it lets me exercise with my friends. None of my friends play pickleball, but now we may not be able to take our tennis classes together. Is it true that they will be taking away my tennis classes? And will I not have anybody to help teach me how to play?
Play tennis, right? Laura, I'm looking at you. You want to come up here and talk about pickleball courts? You know, that's not fair. You know, that's not fair. You bring your daughter. But that's really masterful. I congratulate you. Okay.
So no, we're not going to take the tennis lessons away. The adults are trying to learn, though, is how to share. We have a lot of people that want to play a lot of different times at the outdoor courts, and we have people that want to play pickleball. We have people that want to play tennis. We have lessons going on, but then we have a lot of recreational people that saying the lessons are getting out of control. So we're trying to find a middle ground where everybody can play, but everyone's going to have to give up a little time so everybody else can play too. So maybe you can help us in encouraging people to learn how to share better, but we will be keeping tennis, and we're just trying to meet the different needs of all the people.
Hey, sorry, if I can just jump in for her. I'm Mike, I'm her dad, and I actually play absolutely no tennis, but this is something that was really dear to her, so we thank you for letting her come in and speak her mind, because I thought this is a great opportunity for her
This
to
is great.
be a part of it. She's really nervous.
This is great. I want to thank you. Oh, and what was your name? Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, thank you.
But you know, one of the things that I wanted to point out that they mentioned was that what they were thinking about doing was making it a requirement that you needed to have so many tennis courts in order for them to reserve so many courts for lessons. And that, I think, was the concern, was that they would lose the chance to reserve the space for the kids to take tennis lessons, you know, depending on the number of courts that were there. So I understand that they would need to lose some courts for pickleball, makes total sense, but if there doesn't have that other part of the proposal that says if you don't have so many tennis courts, you can't save the rest for lessons.
As Laura's coming up here, just so you know, as a point of information, if I've heard in the last couple of years one single request greater than our mall, it's been about pickleball courts. It's been absolutely fascinating how many people, when I see them, can you build a pickleball court? Go ahead.
So we are putting together new rules for outdoor courts. Right now, we only have rules for tennis courts. We don't have rules for pickleball or basketball or volleyball courts. We took a survey for residents to see, you know, kind of where the balance is between the lessons and the recreation play. And we're working with the different instruction companies to see what their business models are, because we want to make sure that we can provide residents lessons, but we also have had a number of companies start up that are taking additional courts, and we're getting complaints from recreational players. When we finally get all the information together, we'll go out to the public, because all rulemaking has to go through a public hearing process. So there'll be a public hearing in front of the Small Business Regulatory Review Board, and then a public hearing in front of the public as well. And before we go through the formal hearings, we'll probably put the draft rules out one more time, just for kind of a soft comment period from the public.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Let me just say, just as Mike Formby alluded to it earlier about our sensitivities culturally, I can promise you this, we're also highly sensitive to how we play as a people. And so whether we're talking about a racetrack, because I met with the guys outside earlier, or the firing ranges and the sports people have, or basketball courts, pickleball courts, whatever. And that's why I'm so glad that Laura Thielen agreed to be our Director of Parks and Recreation, because she's got the right heart for it. But I will tell you, we are very sensitive to that. Sir.
Well, that's a very sweet young lady and a very tough act to follow. Good evening to you all. My name is Neil Averett. We live around the corner of the island in Waimanalo. I have a couple of small questions designed to sort of identify the best way of getting in touch with the city on issues involving street signs and street shoulders. We have two things that have occurred in our neighborhood. One, there's a very decrepit stop sign that's been knocked off the vertical, and the sign itself has been spray painted. And the result is it doesn't look very authoritative, and cars go sailing through it fairly often. Is there a way that someone from the city could take a peek at that and see if it's an appropriate candidate for maintenance?
It sounds like it's an appropriate candidate. Warren.
Yeah, thank you. I can actually speak with you off on the side, get some information. We do have a small little flyer with the phone numbers, and for street sign maintenance, you can call 808-768-3600, but we can discuss this off to the side.
And my second question is sort of...
Hi, Coach.
Good
night, Coach. Guy was a football coach for 40 years.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Second question is in a similar vein. We live across the street from one of the access paths to Waimanalo Beach, and have along the side of our house places where 6 cars can park. And as a matter of policy, we have tried to maintain and landscape that area to make it easy for people to park, because we like to encourage people to use the beach. You know, we don't want to put obstacles in their path. But one consequence of that is that the ground in that area has been beaten down by all the cars parking on it, and it's now 2 to 10 inches below the level of the street, making it kind of hard for people to get in and out. If the city were prepared to dump some gravel in that area, if that were appropriate, I'd be happy to rake it around. Is that, again, is that something?
I think that's something that we can actually work out. Yeah, I can get the address, and I'll work with our Department of Roads, Division of Road Maintenance, to get that scheduled. Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you
That's
so
great.
much.
Thank you. This is exactly the kind of stuff we wanted to have go on, so thank you. Stuff that we can make a difference on right away. Sir.
Hi, my name is Eric Yates, and
Hi,
I
Eric.
live in Kaimuki. I moved here about 5 years ago with my family. I have 2 young boys. They're waiting for me at home as well. They didn't like the fact that I was coming here. I work a lot of hours. I work at the SCADA office, the wastewater treatment plant. And my question is, what is my incentive to stay here in Honolulu? Jobs pay less. My colleagues that moved here from Carmel, California, he's a guy that just moved here about a year ago. He's a grade 2 operator. He put in an application for a job. A year ago, he still to this day, has not heard back from the city as to whether they're hiring that job. He finally took another job with the private company. So that's one.
And that's maddening for me to hear. And part of the reason why the city has 3,000 vacancies, and I'll speak for Bugs on this, is because our hiring procedures were antiquated, outdated. It took 6 months for somebody to get a job, 180 days. We did all the diagnostics on it. So we're working on that and cutting down that timeline. But if I've heard that story once, I've heard that a lot. As far as an incentive for living here, hard for me to answer that. Because if you don't get Hawaii and all that it represents, then you're missing out on what the real value is here. If you're going to talk about it and to reduce it strictly to what you're earning and pay, then all I can tell you is it is what it is. All of us are sacrificing. Everybody's doing the best they can.
It goes beyond pay.
Okay, go ahead.
So what's my investment? I want to invest in the community. I want to be a part of the community. I want to be an owner. I want to have a piece of property.
Okay.
That's completely out of the question. Cost of living here is way beyond my means to afford it. So the question then comes to, I see Canada, I see Japan, I see investors from China, I see BlackRock buying up property throughout the nation. I know that's not your fault, and I know you don't have anything to do with that, but do those people work here? Do they live here? Do they pay state taxes like I do? And they're going to make fortunes here. So are you disincentivizing them in any way, shape, or form so that property values can stabilize and come back down to a point when I could afford it? Otherwise, I'm going to do like the other 15,000 people did last year that left the state. I don't want to do that. I invested. I moved here. I spent a lot of money to get here, and I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
But
well,
the reality of the situation is I have to say to my children, what is your future?
Yeah, and I understand that. You know, we talk about that out-migration all the time as we address trying to build houses, all kinds of houses, as fast as we can. So, you know, I understand what you're talking about with respect to home ownership. And this past year, our property value skyrocketed for the first time. It was really an aberration that it went so high. And we know full well that it's out of reach. And so much of our efforts right now have to deal with what we're trying to create in the way of housing. We spend a lot of time on it. There's a lot of good things happening. And I don't know if, Mike, you want to come up and embellish that. I could talk to you about that. But that's not a quick fix, okay? That's not a quick fix. I'm going to say it again. We're not up here to make any excuses. We've been in office for 27 months. The first 15 of those months was more than distracted by COVID. It's only been the last year or so that we're getting on track as a team. The housing crisis that you're talking about from an affordability issue has always been true, but it's gotten exacerbated because of the tremendous shortage. And what we've challenged ourselves to do is to see what we can do about that. And there's a lot. We may not be able to do it fast enough before you make that decision, but I can promise you, you don't know me, I'm just telling you, I can promise you what we're doing right now at the city and county when it comes to building housing is unprecedented. Denise, is there anything you want to talk about? If you come up, our new director of housing, I'm putting you on the spot. I don't want to do that. But, you know, beyond that, I don't know what else I can say to you. And I hear that, but I appreciate what you're saying.
Thank you.
Okay. We don't want you to leave. Sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and staff. My name is Thomas Beck. I used to reside in Kāhala, but I moved to Kalihi for obvious reasons. My concern actually concerns what's happening in Kalihi, a very hot topic of the rail. The corridor on Dillingham, where the rail is going down, is being decimated because of the construction and delays. We have two major stores, Costco and Home Depot. From what I understand, they were within the top 5 of the nation in regards to sales. If this delays and continue, I believe it will devastate Kalihi. COVID already took its toll. There's a lot of businesses that were there for like 30, 40 years, small restaurants, mom and pop type of businesses are gone. permanently gone. And that's on, of course, on King Street. I feel if the delays continue, I don't know what's going to be left of Kalihi. I was actually born and raised in Kalihi before we moved to Kāhala. The corridor going through Dillingham has the most utilities, including high power lines from Hawaiian Electric, and they still don't know what it's going to cost to move those on the Makai side of Dillingham.
No, I don't agree with that. And I'll let Lori speak to this. I don't agree with that. You know, coming down the Dillingham corridor is going to be the toughest part of construction since the rail began, and we knew that, and we're there now, okay? And we're coming down, and we're really building two things at one time. We're going to be building the guideway, and we're doing the utility relocation. As far as Costco and Home Depot, what we're doing in Dillingham Boulevard is one thing, but there's access to both of those stores, and I don't feel sorry for those stores, but there's access there off of Alakawa Street, right off of Nimitz. And they're not going to suffer. I was just at Costco the other day. They're not going to suffer. They're not suffering right now. The small places you're talking about, unfortunately, there's a consequence to that as far as access to that, and we're aware of that. And historically, and maybe Laura, you can speak to this, we're going to try to do something to help subsidize them because we understand that.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
Let me ask you a question then. The rail was supposed to be running in January of this year, yes? Right?
In January of this year?
Yes. And it was delayed. Am I correct on that?
No, you're not correct.
So it's supposed to be running in July of this year?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You can guarantee that?
I can guarantee it's going to run in July of this year.
You want to take a gentleman's bet?
Do you know where it's going? It's going to go from East Kapolei to Aloha Stadium.
I have $500. I'll give you a gentleman's bet to your...
Chaplain, I need some help here.
That,
I can't bet as a public official. I can't do that. You're compromising me. But if you're asking me if we're going to be able to run from East Kapolei to Aloha Stadium, if you're asking me that, I am telling you that is going to happen.
I'm not trying to throw all the blame on you, okay?
No.
3 previous mayors said in 2017 this would be running. I'm just making a statement.
I'm the fourth mayor. Let's be fair. I'm the fourth mayor to touch rail. Let's talk about that. Sure. I'm the fourth mayor to touch rail. I'm certainly aware of how much over budget it is and what the time delays are. And in our short time in office, within 2 years, we brought the FTA back to the table as our construction partner. We amended the full funding grant agreement, which everybody said you couldn't do, with the FTA. We've got them to agree we didn't have to do an onerous EIS, and we're now going to build a rail system that's going to be 18.75 miles long based on the money we have available, which, when you add it all up, is about $9.8 billion. We came into office with over $5.5 billion already spent. We pivoted from saying what we couldn't do to what we could do. How much money do we have? How far will that take us? As far as opening up to East Kapolei, to Aloha Stadium, I wish I could bet you because I could use that $500. That's how good I feel about it. Okay? So we've done the best job. I'll tell you right now, the rail, and I'll let Lori speak, the rail is in better condition today than it has been since the time it got voted in when it was supposed to go initially to UH. Okay?
I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
How old are the rail vehicles?
How old are the real vehicles? Go ahead, Lori.
I think they're about 7 years old.
Do they still have warranties?
Yes.
7 years?
Yes, they are still under warranty. They are insured. They are the top of the industry. They are the first automated system that's going to go in the United States. We have been testing them for the last several years, and they are ready to go.
That's why we have to wait till July before they run?
It's going to be running in July. They've been running for several years, but for you to, in order for you to get onto the rail, we have to fully test them. We've already completed our trial running. We have to fix the hammerheads. Should be done by the end of May. The material is already here. The construction is already starting this Sunday. And then we can hand this over to DTS at the end of May. So the residents hopefully will be able to get on in July.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
How are you going to power this with Hawaiian Electric? Hawaiian Electric has lost Kalailoa partners that used to give them 172 megawatts of power. Yeah, they were relying on a solar plant to be built that was canceled.
We have enough power We have been working hand in hand with HECO all along, and thankfully to Rogers H Power, who also powers the island, we have enough power. If we don't have enough power, we've been adding generators and traction power systems with HECO. So we do have enough power.
But H Power basically does not have enough.
I don't think she said H Power
material
alone.
to burn, right?
We have enough power. We have been working hand in hand with HECO on this.
But H Power doesn't have enough materials to burn to. Aren't they behind? Aren't they paying fines?
H Power powers about 16% of Oahu's need, but all the rest, we have enough power for the train. We've been working with HECO for years on this.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
You know what, I understand your frustration, and I can appreciate your doubt. I'll just say it again. We came into office, the month before we came into office, in the middle of a pandemic, December of 2020. They removed the CEO, they pulled the P3 from financing, they announced a $3.67 billion overrun. The FTA had pulled back, had not given us a nickel since 2017, and they announced a time delay until 2033 to get to Ala Moana. That's not the case today, okay? And that we got done during the pandemic. That's why I feel really strongly about this. What we're doing and what's been done and what you can anticipate is different than in the past, but when I tell you we're going to start in July, you can count on that.
Well, July 1st, I'll be to office if it's not running.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to give you my card. I'm going to look forward to that, okay? You come. That'll be good. All right, good. We'll do it. All right, I'll welcome that. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Derek Bowen. I'm a registered nurse.
What's your first name?
Derek.
Derek. Okay, Derek.
And I'm crashing this from Waimanalo.
Hi.
And my question is for you, Mayor Blangiardi, regarding Bill 10, because I think you've been a big proponent of it. And my background is about a year and a half ago, my family purchased a few acres in Waimanalo where half of it is low-income housing and half is farming, horses, livestock, paniolos, agritourism it has been for more than 50 years. However, the property is zoned country, and Bill 10 makes horses, sheep, livestock illegal in country zoning of any size. It also makes weddings and agritourism illegal on country zoning. It makes more than 6 beehives illegal everywhere, regardless of how large the acreage is. And we bought Saddle City, excuse me.
All right, I got the spirit of the question because we know a lot about Bill 10.
Yeah.
And I know you said the question's for me, and I'm going to be happy to talk to you about it. But what I said at the outset tonight, this is a team of experts behind me. Krishna Jairam, who is our Deputy Managing Director. I'm going to let Krishna take a step at this because we're working on Bill 10 as we speak.
Okay.
So thank you for your question.
Wait, I didn't get to the question yet.
Okay, what's the question then? Because we know all those facts. What's the question?
It appears to be outlawing organic farming and agriculture on farms in country-zoned land. And how can we continue to run an organic teaching farm and agritourism farm if this bill is passed? And the second question is related. If Bill 10 is supposed to help the housing crisis, why will it wipe out affordable housing in this case? Because we would have to sell to developers who would then build bigger, more expensive houses.
Derek, really good questions. It's the same ones we've asked ourselves, so I'm going to let him answer this.
So taking your second question first, there's no way that Bill 10 is going to affect affordable housing in a negative way. So I'd like to talk to you about that, understanding what you're seeing in there that makes you think it does that. So we'll have a discussion with that offline if that's okay with you. Your first question was about agri-tourism, and you feel that Bill 10 also impacts that. There's been a lot of misunderstandings about Bill 10. So Vice Chair Kiana is working on it. She's been taking it in chunks. The agricultural bit, when it comes, it'll come later. But I'd like to understand what you're seeing in Bill 10 there too, that you feel impacts agritourism. So if we could have that discussion. Okay. I can meet you right now.
Sure.
Let's get into details. I can tell you this. I went before council and asked them to defer the passing of Bill 10 because I thought it overreached. And since that time, we've been working on that. So talk with Krishna. We'll get into the details. But what you're suggesting right there is not anything we would ever be in favor of. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Derek.
Aloha, my name is Kalani High School.
I'm with Pu'uhonua o Wailupe, which is an organization, nonprofit, that was formed here on this side of the island. It's a community organization to protect iwi kūpuna from desecration. And I want to address what you said earlier. We submitted an application. I just want to give a little bit of history. Okay. We submitted an application to the Clean Water and Natural Lands Fund Commission, and that was back in January. For 3 months, we're going on 3 months, your administration, the people in your administration, has blocked us from even having a fair hearing at the commission where we can present our proposal to protect the iwi that are up there. This issue of the iwi in Wailupe has been ongoing since 2008. It's a sore spot in our community. It's talked about constantly in our neighborhood boards. This has to be resolved soon. And I have said this and I communicated this when we turned in our application, and we turned in hundreds of pages of supporting documentation, that this is an urgent issue because they want to develop that area. And also, I want to address your point about, doing your due diligence. No other organization has been asked to do an AIS just to present to the commission. It's not even part of the application process. And we are volunteers. The money is not going, and there's a lot of people here, so I want to clarify. The money's not coming to us. The money is going so that the county can purchase it. We're not getting anything. So all we want is for our iwi to be protected and be able to rest in peace. The other thing also that I want to also reiterate too is that we should be given a real say on how this goes forward. We are the people from this community. We are the Kanaka Maoli people. These are our iwi. And we should be able, it's just a humane thing to do. We should be able to push this forward already. This has divided the community so many years, since 2008, and it's still under threat of being developed. So what can you do? Here's my question. What can you do to make this an urgent matter? Because we are tired of having to put ourselves on the line to protect what is sacred to us. Imagine having to protect your ancestors' burials. That's degrading. That's inhumane. So what can you do to make sure this is an urgent matter, that this is taken care of in a fast manner?
Yeah, thank you for that. And I appreciate the passion of your statement and your question. We have no disagreement with that, none. There's no reason for me or the Department of Land Management to disagree with you or the community about the preservation of the culture, the burial caves, none of that. There's none. What I suggest is that we get together and talk, because what we're really facing is capacity constraints. The woman that just took over the directorship of that department, Kat Tashner, couldn't be here tonight because she's physically sick. But we've had meetings where we've talked about this, and we've wrestled with why would we go through this archaeological inventory study. And it had to do with the size of the prior study versus the size of this study, and our fiduciary obligation to all the taxpayers who support this fund. But we have no basic disagreement with you on anything. And if you think that me standing here today is somehow against what you're trying to do, that's patently wrong.
Well, 2 hours ago, we got an email with no explanation, well, actually more than 2 hours, that our meeting was canceled. We had the meeting with your administration that was booked like over 2 weeks ago.
I appreciate that, because Kat's out sick.
We took vacation,
but tonight,
we had it all planned out, and literally a couple hours before we came here, that meeting was canceled.
I get it, and tonight I gave you our email address, and as managing director, I commit to you, and I'm telling you honestly, on behalf of Krishna, my deputy, and the mayor, We're going to get to the bottom of this and do what we can, but there's
And an
no...
AIS has to come from SHPD, by the way. And every archaeologist we spoke to said, we need a letter from SHPD. So why is your staff asking us for an AIS? Are they qualified to review an AIS?
So what I would ask you is, can Kat be at the table when we have this discussion? The person that's out sick
That's
today?
what we were hoping for, and that's
And
what
I've
we
told you
want.
we'll-
We want to move forward with this.
And I've told you we'll give you
Yes.
that. I'm here today to
And I
respect...
also want to clarify that the commission is looking for projects. They're actively looking. Sometimes they don't even meet because there's not enough projects to fund. So it's not like there's a little pot of money. There's a lot of money. This is worth it. This has been going on since 2008. This has been a sore in our community.
I hear you. I don't disagree with anything you've said. I just said, give us a chance to meet. You can come to the conference room. You can meet with us. We'll come to you in your community. I've actually asked Katner if I can go up and walk the property myself. That's how much we care about the outcome of this. Looking at us, we have no reason to say you're wrong and that we shouldn't protect this. There's no reason. That doesn't come from us. So let's get together. Let's talk it out. We'll do what's right. I promise you that. You have my email.
Yeah.
I gave you my phone number. Call me when Kat is healthy. Let's get together in the conference room. Let's talk this through.
Thank you. I would
That's my
appreciate if you rescind the AIS. I mean, you don't even have developers do an AIS when they have to develop. You're asking a community group to do an AIS, which costs thousands of dollars.
We talked about all of that, so let's talk some more. I appreciate your passion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, the only thing I would say to you from the standpoint where I come from, because you want to judge me by my actions, you know, I signed the petition on saving Sherwood, and then one of the first things we did after I got in office, I signed Bill 38 to kill all the commercial production in Waimanalo and the beaches. And everybody said I wouldn't do that. They said I couldn't do that, and I did that. So if you don't think we understand where you're coming from, you're mistaking us, okay? I promise you that.
Thank you, and I hope your actions reflect that. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your passion. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Ernest Shi, and I'm here with Lena Hapala. And I'm from Wailupe up here. I've lived here for over 40 years. And I raised my two kids. They all went to Kalani. They didn't go to Kalani, but they went to Kāhala Elementary.
Okay.
And I want to reiterate that I feel Hawaii is a very, very special place. I want to talk about the specialness of Hawaii. Because
as long as it's not a long speech.
There's a question. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the first thing I want you to remind you about is, does anyone remember the big pineapple water tank at Dole Cannery? Wasn't that an amazing thing?
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful. And I was part of the environmental team that took it down and tested for lead. But what did they do? They took it down and tried to make a tourist destination out of Dole Cannery.
Yeah.
That did not work very well.
Okay.
The second thing is, when I first got here, we were able to drive down Hanauma Bay and have a bonfire. Those were fantastic times. It was amazing. But if we would have been able to keep doing that, it would be a disaster today.
Right.
And what changed it was managed access. And I'm here to talk about another special place, and that is the Haiku Stairs. Haiku Stairs do not deserve to be taken apart. They're irreplaceable. They're amazing, and they should be at least given a chance to be managed. If the management fails, okay, we tried it, but no one has given it a chance. There's all these details about, you know, trespassing, all that. I know all the issues, but let's look at it as a treasure, a historical treasure, a national treasure.
You know, I'm going to cut you off right there because
Okay.
we've already made the decision, number one. Number two, we've really explored this extensively. And what's not being talked about while you have all of that going on, I thought you were going to talk about Koko Head Stairs, of which we were very big supporters, okay? But the fact of the matter is, the disservice to the community that lives around Haiku Stairs is not anything you're prepared to deal with. None of them are. And we've looked at the alternative plans, and we've just done some really extensive studies of late about alternative access to the stairs. It just doesn't pencil out. So we're not against doing that. We plan on working with Kualoa Ranch, John Gordon's not here right now, to create a different stairway on the other side where it's more safe, that doesn't get access through the community the way it does, because those people have suffered for a long time with all kinds of things. And I talked earlier tonight about how I believe in public safety. We can't let that kind of vandalism and burglaries and all the other things that go into that. We had Amanda up here a little while ago talking about how violated she felt, right? That's been going on with Haiku Stairs. We've had no way to control it. And the group that wants us to keep it has no way of running a business to ensure that won't happen. And it's not the place where you can do it. Unfortunately, it was built for a different reason and not a tourist attraction. The adaptation took place. If you've climbed those stairs, God bless you, it's wonderful. But right now, as of tonight, there's nothing you can say to me. We're taking down the stairs.
You're right. The group that's asking to keep it is a nonprofit. They cannot manage a tourism site. But when the city sent out a proposal for interest, 14 different groups did answer, including Kulo Ranch. And I don't believe that there's no other way. There's multiple ways to get in that site, and you know it. It's just that we don't want to disturb the neighbors either.
Well, we want to do something that's going to be safe, that's going to be attractive.
It will be.
You know, I started out wanting to save Haiku Stairs, just so you know. I started out wanting to save Haiku Stairs. And the more we looked at it, it became an impossibility. So we need to put the stairs somewhere else that we built for the recreational purposes you want, and not the adapted stairway that was built for civil defense.
You're going to lose the historic aspect of it. You're going to lose the magnificent historic aspect of it. You're going to have an environmental disaster tearing it apart.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Point taken. Thank you.
Lena, you want to
I appreciate it.
Yeah? Can she speak a little bit?
Sure.
Hi, my name is Lena Hopala. I am the president of the Coconut Coalition who rehabilitated the Coco Crater Stairs.
You did a great job on those stairs.
Thank
you did. You did a great job.
Hundreds of volunteers, yes.
No.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, incredible work. The amount of volunteerism that went into that was incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. But tonight came here and I wanted to support the Friends of Haiku Stairs because I believe that the managed access plan could work. And
we just spent a lot of money. Look, I'm just going to cut to the quick. Okay. We spent a lot of money lately researching it. I haven't talked about it publicly. I had Senator Schatz involved and a whole lot of other people to see if we could pull a rabbit out of the hat and create a national park out of it. Not going to happen. It's a non-starter. So I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be abrupt. But when a decision gets made, we're making it, and that's the decision. So we're going to go forward.
Okay. I think our concern is if you tear out the stairs, there's going to be diehard hikers, adventure enthusiasts who are still going to try to get up there with webbing, with rope, and just create, more problems, more rescue issues or recovery issues.
That's like being extorted. So we'll see how we deal with those people when that happens.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
I'm
you,
going to be fair. Come on, I really support you on the Coco. You only get one stairway in your life, lady. That's it. You got yours.
Thank
All right. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah. So Mike just reminded me, we have a meeting with the Friends of Haiku Stairs coming up. We've never stopped talking to them, but we've made a decision, just so you know. We're trying to do a workaround. Yes, ma'am.
Aloha. I just wanted to start off with, I'm going to talk about I have two questions, two different topics, but they're both related. So my first question I wanted to start off with is, where are your kūpuna buried?
Where are my kūpuna buried? Far away from here.
Okay. How would you feel if you know that they were going to be dug up?
I wouldn't feel good about that.
Exactly. So I just wanted to say that I want to change the mindset. It's all about the mindset. If you look at actually who's up here in the panel and the majority, we're in Hawaii and the mindset has to change. Right now, all of this is based off on a colonized mindset. You have to decolonize your mind. Okay. So whereas, where you wouldn't feel great if your kupuna were going to be buried, it's happening since the overthrow of Queen Liliuokalani. Okay. So we have to change that mindset and realize that SHPD, although it's the state agency, they're not doing their job. The Oahu Bureau Council, they're still finding. You should have seen all the agenda items of all the iwi kupuna found on every island, on Maui, on Kauai. It seems to be that profit over people in this mindset still in Hawaii, which is because of Kanaka Maoli. So we have to decolonize our mindset. It's uncomfortable if you're benefiting from it. It's uncomfortable, maybe triggering if you are, again, benefiting of it or just hiding it. So you have to bring to light what is the truth and what is correct. So that's my
Okay.
first thing. And related to that is this. My question is, why are we allowing the Waikai development to use our good water in the only known water crisis in Hawaii history and any other development? It seems that capacity, ability, you know, there's always an issue when it comes to Kanaka Maoli or our Āina or our Vai, which all of us here are being affected by. There's
Okay.
always a place to find money, but yet, why are we allowing more development, unnecessary development
Ernie,
that's going to use our Wai?
I'm going to bring up Ernie. Okay, got your question. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And by the way, I'm in another meeting as well, and this is the type of thing we have to do in this system. I'm in a neighborhood community board meeting. We need to testify there.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Aloha. Thank you. That's a good question about the wave pool. This is the wave pool out in
And wave
Eva.
pools, plural,
Yeah, and actually there is another wave pool being proposed.
with our clean water.
So the Waikai development is served by Board of Water Supply. So the other wave pool is not off the Board of Water Supply system. So we don't have really any decision-making or influence on that project. But so the Waikai project uses about 1.7 million gallons. They're going to fill it every 5 years. We have to refill it every 5 years.
And on the daily as well, due to condensation.
I think the daily,
Is
they
couple
estimate
thousand.
it's going to be about 3,300 gallons a day.
Yes.
That has to make up for the evaporation and water losses in the pool.
Right.
This project, you know, already had a water meter in place, a large water meter for this whole area that was already in place.
But I wanted to state that as well. It was already put in place before it was actually allowed, and when they changed the plans from marina to a wave pool, I mean, why is there so many obstacles to correcting wrongdoing and corruption when...
So I'll just say
Yeah.
that when this came to my attention, that it had come in for the building permit. Usually projects come in with they inquire about the availability of water, and that's why we usually try to catch it and provide conditions and requirements. This one actually came in for the building permit first, and just before they were almost complete with construction, then they asked us, oh, by the way, can you fill the pool with water while they are already under construction? So I wrestled with this. I even talked to the developer, Haseko, and said, can't you do something like reuse water on site to reduce your impact on the freshwater resources? And they said they couldn't do that, but I still put pressure on them to do that. I don't know how they're going to turn it out. They're supposed to use water efficient landscaping, practice water conservation.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I developed, for example, at the neighborhood board meeting, water drops that the people, the community has to provide. We just provided water to Iroquois Elementary instead of the state. With the millions of dollars that you're spending for development, tourism, everything, you can provide water for the schools and the communities affected in that area, in all affected areas.
If I could continue.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. I understand using that much water for this wave pool doesn't look good, because I'm asking everybody to conserve water, and we are in the battle of our life at Red Hill over protecting the Vai.
Yes.
I also wrestle with the issue that, because right now there are no water restrictions all across the island. We are asking people to conserve voluntarily, and we're trying to provide incentives for people to replace old toilets, do other things to save water. I wrestle with this because this is a pool, and if there was a pool to be built here in East Honolulu or on that Ewa Plain too, how do I say one pool over the other, or a community pool versus this commercial pool? So I couldn't find at this point I can't really restrict pools, because I know pools make a difference for our community. And here at Kalani High School, I noticed they have a pool too. Swimming is very important for our island. And in these pools, they provide a valuable resource. So I kind of wrestled with this one. We did get a request subsequently, so I'll tell everybody, I learned my lesson here. I got to be more vigilant to watch for these kind of projects and really try to catch it as early as we can before they get to already almost completed with construction, because if we stop that project, I know I would be sued instantly for that. They've already committed millions of dollars into that project.
I really want to move on. It's 7:59. We've got 31 minutes left. There's a bunch of people behind you. Ernie, I thank you for that answer. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to say my lesson is learned here is, yeah, we will be more vigilant. And I apologize to all of you for letting this thing go through, because they could have used seawater for that one. The other wave pool is being built is 6.8 million gallons, even larger. I don't have any control over that wave pool, but we just need to be more vigilant as a community. So if you become aware of something like this, and Kalani sent me a text message about that other one too. When I looked into it, it was, okay, good.
That will be 100,000 gallons per day.
Yeah, I noticed that in the EA. So mahalo everybody. My apologies for letting that pool get built. I'll pay much closer attention going forward in the future. Aloha.
Thank you. Thanks for your questions. Thank you. Okay, let me guess. The roller skates are just accoutrement, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. And I spoke with Director Thielen earlier, and she gave us good news that she's working on getting the Hawaii Kai skate rink and Mililani rink in coordination. But we just wanted to show our support for the people that had showed up at the Mililani Town Hall. And just let you know
what's
our
happening
skate
to that
community
rink already from last week? What's happening to that rink? It's getting worked on. They're being worked on,
Yes,
absolutely, right away.
Thank you for that.
Thank you,
Thank you, yes. Thank
They
you
were
for
there
that.
out last week in Mililani. We have a rink out there, and we're going to town on that. So thank you.
So
What's the question?
I'll let Lisa speak on the finer points, but.
Hi, my name's Lisa. We just had a few more points that we didn't get across on the last meeting. So
Is it a question or points?
it's question.
Because I can meet you afterwards. Go ahead, ask the question. Go ahead.
Basically, we wanted to see if we could get uniform rules for the Hawaii Kai and the Mililani rinks, because right now they have separate rules as far as permitting and locks and that
Okay.
kind of stuff. And then
We can look at that. That's
we also
reasonable.
wanted to see if there was a way we could get signage. So right now, there's no way of knowing like how to actually access the rink. You have to email someone, and then they get
Okay.
back to you like a little while later.
I see
and
Laura over
there's
here
no
nodding.
real,
All right.
like, I guess for either way, we don't know
Yeah.
how to like get a hold
How do
of
I know
people.
you're not the only roller skaters on the island? How do I know
There's
that?
like hundreds of us.
There's hundreds of you, okay, yeah, we
Well,
know
that's
that.
the thing,
I'm just
there's
kidding.
different
I'm
types of
just-
skating.
Okay, look, we can handle that offline. I want to get to the next question because we're going to help you with that. I mean, I think last week was great.
Yeah.
We went to work right away in Mililani. We're going to do the same thing in Hawaii. I said earlier tonight, anything that we can do to help our people play in all kinds of sports, we're really sensitive to that.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll see
And
that.
the same thing with Mililani, like Hawaii Kai really needs some updating, and we
Yeah.
would love to see that there too.
Okay. How'd you like a pickleball court in the middle of the skating
Maybe
rink?
not.
Okay, good. I need to take the next
Love
question.
pickleball,
All right,
though.
I got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Mia, you're back.
I am back with a different hat, but it stems, like I wanted you to know that I'm on the board of Pu'uhonua o Wailupe, and so I'm an EV protector, but I started protecting EV in Maimanalo at Hunananiho.
Okay, but look, in all fairness to the people behind you, we've kind of covered the topic of EV
We
already.
have not talked about Bill 38 yet.
Okay, go ahead and talk about Bill 38.
Okay. So our bill to protect Waimanalo from commercial activity
Right,
passed and it became law in September.
right.
You signed it.
I did.
You agreed to it. And then in March, you come up with Bill 19, which is a
'Cause-
blanket law for around the
Because when I
island.
signed Bill 38, what I said was I don't really believe in bans. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for something that's more equitable, that's equity-based on all of our beaches, knowing that we're going to monitor it. Nobody's reneging on that with Bill 19. It was what we said at the time. And at the same time we signed Bill 38, at the request of the community, we allowed television and motion pictures to continue to shoot there because they were doing it right. That seemed to be okay with everybody because they were doing it right. And what I said was, we can do this right. And we're going to move towards a statewide or island-wide policy. That's what we said, and that's what we're trying to do right
Okay,
now.
but you signed our bill to protect Waimanalo from
Yes.
commercial activity, but here comes Bill 19, wiping out, erasing the
No,
laws.
that's wrong. See, you're wrong saying
No,
that.
okay, let me tell you something.
No, it's not-
When Bill 38 passed, the commercial activity really slowed down. I didn't even have to be out there.
Right.
Like, I called HPD 50 times before that,
Right.
3 citations, Laura Thielen knows all that. But the minute you put Bill 19 on the board, they're back.
Okay.
So I'm telling you that Bill 38 works. And my question to you, which I kind of get the answer, is will you support keeping the ban of commercial activity
No.
and recreational stops?
No.
Then why did you
Because
sign
I want to be
that
really
law?
clear and direct, because I told you, when we signed Bill 38, I went down to Waimanalo, I saw what was going on. It was overrun. But I don't really believe in bans on beaches, and what I asked for was the opportunity to develop an island-wide policy that we could enforce that wouldn't cause you that consternation. Because at the same time, I want to say it again, you're telling me the commercialization was ruining the beach. They said, oh yeah, but it's okay for the TV and the movie guys to be here.
Not everybody was, it's not like this side or that side.
No, but that's been going on, and they've not ruined the beach, have they? So my point is, it can be managed properly
The
if
TV
we do it
production
well.
company gives back to the community.
Yes,
and
I
I
understand
understand there's
that.
small businesses and
I
commercial
understand that.
activity, but you need to uphold the laws that you sign.
Well, I am going to uphold the laws I signed.
Well,
I am.
I hope that the council really listens to the community, because community should become before commercialism.
Well, you know what? What's happened here is we've banned that there only to put people on other beaches. And so it will go down the line unless we come up with something that's fair and equitable and makes sense. That's what you're forgetting.
Okay, until the
Until-
council
Yes.
listens to the community, Waimanalo is going to come strong and hard.
That's
and we
good.
will convince the council, and we will keep our Bill 38.
Mia, we welcome this is what this is all about. I welcome it too, but you're asking me where I'm
I
coming
was
from.
one of 100 women that were
Yes.
for Blangiardi, based on preservation on cultural
And we're doing
aspects and
that.
communities.
We're doing that. You're presupposing that if we had a policy in place, we would allow complete overrun. It's anything but that. We're a land of laws, and people complain about too much regulation. I'm talking about a regulated environment, but I'm talking about doing it equitably. Because all the people who are doing that ended up going somewhere else, and all they've done is we've pushed on another headache
Yes,
that
and
we
the
can't
other
defend.
communities along the way are becoming stronger. Koko Lolio's law just passed in November or December, and you're wiping them off, and you're
We're
wiping
not
off
wiping anybody
North
out.
Shore.
Give us a chance to make our argument.
I agree with Bill 19 as a whole, but you got to keep the laws that protect Waimanalo, Koko Lolio, and North Shore.
Okay,
Mahalo.
I hear you. No, Mia, I hear you. I really do. Okay? But I'm going to say it again. Nobody's reneging on anything. We said at the time what we intended to do, and that's what we're doing. And people in this world sometimes have a short memory, and they want to remember the things they want to remember.
I have a memory problem.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
so don't go there.
I don't. Okay, I don't have one. All right. Thank you.
I believe in the council, and we will see how this plays out.
Okay.
And if it doesn't play out, good luck to you. We'll be knocking on your door.
Look, we're going to, Waimanalo is sacred as far as I'm concerned, so please know that.
Oh, I know that. I live
Okay.
there.
All right, well, so
I
nobody's
hope that
looking
you
to,
respect
nobody's
our
looking to
community.
hurt anything. What we're trying to do is come up with something that's equitable.
Thank
you. Thanks, Mia. Okay. Sir.
Hey, hello. My name's Indar Lang, born and raised from Big Island. I'm in the business of updating and buying rundown houses in our community and providing homes for affordable living for our community. I bought a house back in 2021 in September in Kaneohe. Oftentimes we buy these homes and they, the previous family enclosed the garage, part of the garage, and made it extended living. We bought the home. We applied for a permit. We started our permit process as paper plans back then. This is prior to e-plans. We got an okay to start work from Les, one of the DPP guys. We started work, did the whole thing, started project. A few months later, we got canceled our permit. We had to go to e-plans. It's just such a long, crazy story.
So what is your question?
So we have a $188,000 fine from DPP for working without a permit in process. They're fining us daily for a permit as we are waiting for them.
Okay.
So it's like a scam, I feel like. I know Dawn is here, and I've been trying to speak with Dawn.
Here she is.
Daily. I was outside your office for 2 hours yesterday. I've been so polite and trying to get a hold of you. And yeah, we have a $188,000 fine. and they're fining us $500 a day until we get a permit, and it's on them. They are delaying the process every day to get a permit, and it's just out of hand at this point. It's so bad now. I have 4 other homes that I need to sell. I can't sell. They have now placed a lien on my company for this house, and now these other houses cannot sell. It's a detriment to my business in general. I mean, I don't know what the next steps are. It's so bad. It's 2 years for this, including a garage permit. I mean, it's crazy that it's gotten this bad. And I have 9 other permits, but I mean, I have a $188,000 fine. Can't get any answers. I come and try to speak to Don. Don refers me to Ann refers me to Perry. It's just a big circle down there. I just need a solution how we can get these homes, get these affordable homes back to our communities. It's such a, obviously, you know, I know you ran on this for mayor, and I know you know it's the problems with the permitting, of course. And I know everyone knows there's a big problem down there, but it's really, really getting worse and impacting. As you came mayor, I know you've been trying to push for it, but it's, and Don just came up as a director, I know, in a couple months now. And
September.
Yeah, and she's very nice, and I don't mean to be
She's
rude.
also very competent. Why don't you let the lady speak? Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I speak to her in emails all the time.
Okay.
So, thank you, Indar, for your question. Yes, Anne is working on it. I know you see the emails. You have a lot of properties that have violations on them. So in order for us,
three
right, so the fines are adding up. We need to clear out exactly what the fines that need to be paid so that you can move forward.
Yeah,
And
you
so-
guys gave me a $180,000 lien to remove this property.
Right.
And now I have to pay that lien.
Right.
And this is because every day you guys have held my permit, and
Well,
it's messed up.
I mean,
don't you agree?
part of it is with us, and when I went into
lot more than part of
E-plans, I looked at it, and a substantial amount of time, the permit was with you or your design
No,
person.
2
So
years.
we can talk about that offline,
have all
but,
the
you know,
emails to
DPP
support.
doesn't just go out and put liens on people's properties that create these large fines, you know? It's important that we treat everybody fairly, and if there's a violation, we want to see it through. People, you know,
I have emails to support everything, so
we
if you would look
cannot
at
let
it, emails and...
we cannot let people start work without a permit, right? So we understand that a lot of your violations are based on that. So
We
let's
applied
just-
for a permit, but we couldn't get a permit because you
Right,
guys...
but that doesn't mean you can go ahead and start working without a permit.
2 years.
And that goes for everyone.
And
We're
I
not-
did get an okay from Les. Do you know Les around? He's no longer with DPP. I have an email okay that we had an application in and we can start work. I can show you the email from Les as
Yeah,
well.
we can look at that. So we can
it's
talk
just-
offline. I know staff is working on this, so.
But what's our solution? I mean, I have 9 other permits going and...
All right. In the spirit, in the interest of time, Mike has all of your emails on his desk. He said we will get back to
Yeah,
you.
I've been emailing Mike
You've got
too as
Don-
well.
We will get, I promise you. I promise
It's
you.
a huge fine, $180,000.
I understand,
That's a lot of money.
$180,000 is a whole lot. You want to bet it on when the rail's going to start? Okay? All right, we could play double your money tonight. Let's go. All right, no, Michael, it's serious stuff, okay? I'm not making light of it. Mike,
But
we'll take care.
I've been emailing Don, I've been emailing Mike, so will they contact me? Don?
Mike, we're going to contact him?
Really?
We're going to do that. We're going to contact you. You're not going to get any runaround. We're going to contact you. This is why we came here tonight.
That's why
But
I came, yeah.
there are some people behind you that I really want to make sure we can try to answer their questions. Don, anything else you want to say, last word?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi,
Sir.
my name is Norman Ota, and my concern is the Koko Head Shooting Complex. Okay, supposedly there was a meeting, they wanted to meet with representatives of the small bore shooters, you know, the 22 long rifle shooters, about our input or our concerns. And we were told that there would be no targets allowed at 50 meters, 50 yards.
Okay.
Only at 100 yards. No metal targets, you know, just paper targets. My concern is that we shoot competitive small bore prone. and it's mandatory. You shoot 50 meters, 50 yards.
And it used to be that before you could do that?
Yes. Okay,
Right.
and from the meeting that they said it's 100 yards only, and we couldn't shoot at 50 meters.
Who told you that?
That was what I was told. That came out of that meeting last week, Wednesday.
Okay.
So,
I'm getting a hell of an education tonight about this firing range, which I think is really good. Laura, is there anything you want to say about that? We hear you. I mean, look, everything is negotiable here, I think, on some level. Go ahead.
You know what, you may have been talking about a conversation that took place with the staff on the details of the reopening. So let me get some information from you over on the side, and then I can get back to you on what's happening. I know the range master has been having some conversations with people about the rifle range, but I don't have the details right now.
because we do have junior shooters, the high schoolers that want to practice for, trying to get a scholarship to college.
No, I get it. And there's a guy 3 people back from you who wants to talk about why we don't have a second range somewhere else, but okay.
Okay, my other concern is any changes to the way the range is operated? Something about the
I don't know.
time slots and whatever. Will that be put out to the public before the range is open? And I'm not talking like 1-2 days. I'm talking like a week, 2 weeks before the range opens, because the only people really following it are the dedicated shooters, the ones who shoot for the passion. There's a lot of people who just shoot casually, and they won't get the word.
We're issuing a press release. I think it's scheduled to go out tomorrow with the details, but we wanted to allow the mayor to announce it tonight.
Thank you, Norman. I appreciate that. If this is about the firing range.
Different subject.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, my name is Lance, and I represent one of the
I know you're
clubs.
going to talk about it, Jay. I know that. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering why the city is making the clubs who are nonprofit and volunteer pay for their own repairs and.
What are you talking about? What clubs?
The Skeet and Trap and the Silhouette clubs that have ranges there that make up the Koko Head Shooting Complex.
Yeah.
And these separate clubs that are separate from the rifle pistol side are having to pay for their own repairs on city
Have you always done that?
No.
It just started?
Yeah.
Even though the range has been closed?
What do you mean, been closed?
What were you talking about the shooting range? You're talking about clubs?
Yes.
Okay, go see Laura, and we'll find out about
No, we've
that.
already seen Laura, but we're just wondering if you know about the reason why volunteers and nonprofits have to pay for their own.
Yeah, I don't know the reason for that. I just said a couple of months ago, I'm getting a hell of an education tonight about the firing range. We're going to find out about that, okay? We'll find out about that, I promise you. And if you don't want to talk to Laura, I'll talk to you when this thing is over, but I don't have the answer for that tonight.
Okay.
But I said at the outset tonight, we're recording everything, and one of the things I take real pride in over the last 4 weeks, I mean, just look at the gals that came up here tonight on the roller skating, how quickly we jumped on that. We're jumping on this stuff as best we can. I will get you a definitive answer. I just don't know the answer to that right now.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, sure, but does that sound fair though? I mean.
I think it's a good request. I got nothing against it.
No, not your request. The part about like people having to regular taxpayers.
Why do they have to pay?
Why do they pay for stuff on city property? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm going to find out, and hopefully the answer will be acceptable to you.
All right.
Fair? All right, good. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Donna Meyer, and a 3-part DPP question.
Go ahead. Dawn, right?
Donna. For Dawn.
For Dawn.
Yes. Hi, how come there is no expiration date on a building permit?
There is. There's to build, to construct, there's like a 2-year expiration date.
It's printed on it?
Not on the building permit. It's
Okay.
part of the ordinance.
Okay, so it would be very helpful to have it printed on the permit. Our permit was revoked, and it took us 2.5 years to get the permit. And once we got it, and we had like 6 months, we started doing stuff, and then COVID hit, and we live on the property, and we're old, and so we did not do anything because we did not want construction guys at our site. And so our permit was revoked. And so we're wondering also why you have to pay $200 to appeal a revoked permit.
So that's part of the revocation process before the Building Board of Appeal. That's like a processing fee for the appeal. If you have, so I would need to look at your specific case. There are instances where if it's justified why you weren't able to complete or begin your construction within that time, then we can look at it. So
we would really appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Both Dons, thank you. Okay, Jay, let's go. Because this is on the repeating, I'm going to ask you to alter your question, but go ahead.
I'll alter it. Why has there not been any, I'm Jay Chrisman, I was president of the Hawaii chapter of the Safari Club International. Why has there not been any information put out about the range? It's been closed for 8 months. All of our members and other people are wanting to know what's going on. Now, you say it's going to be open on the 29th, but I've heard all kinds of rules. A sheet came out with some rules on it that haven't been published, and one of them, 50-yard range. That's necessary. That's very necessary. People shoot .22 caliber, small pistol or rifle, and they do it for competition. Second one, on that sheet, it says the bottom of the target has to be 5 feet high. It can't be any lower than 5 feet. Now, who's going to be sitting at the table shooting up? That's silly. There are a lot of things on there. Now, I have a meeting for our annual membership coming up in 2 weeks, and I'd like to be able to tell the members what are the rules. Nobody has published anything. The only thing that's come out is what the news has put out. Your office has not put anything out. Why?
So we have put out information about the information that we got from the outdoor range expert, the improvements that we had to make at the range.
To who?
We've been meeting with the Hawaii Kai Neighborhood Board at the open public meetings, so I've been going to those and updating people, and we've also been issuing press releases about this as well. The information that we're getting now that we're coming up to the opening, we're working with the Department of Information Technology so we can get that online reservation system active, and we're issuing the press release tomorrow with more of the details. So we'll have that information out to people so they'll be able to come on in and make the reservations on the online system.
Okay, why was that wall torn down?
I'm sorry, what?
The wall?
So when we were there at the most recent inspection, it is about a 20-foot high or higher CMU wall, and there is a crack running horizontally along the wall, and you could actually see a shadow because the lower portion of the wall had sunk down.
Yeah.
The upper portion was hanging there and had shifted over to the side.
Okay.
So that would collapse on anybody who was going out to
I'm
change.
not an engineer. I was a cop for 28 years. But I think the problem out there was the soil, right? And that wall is a problem. Why couldn't another wall be built in 8 months?
We do have a capital improvement project that we are put into this budget.
That's
and
8 months later.
Well, correct. We would not be able to design and rebuild that wall in that short period of time. So we've done what we can in the timetable we've got, but that is in the conservation district. So it requires going through a extensive regulatory process in order to build something like that.
Okay, when can we get the rules for the range?
We are publishing the information tomorrow. These are not rules, these are just a management structure that we have in place temporarily until we can get people used to that operating that one section as a single range.
Okay,
that will be published tomorrow.
How is the sign-up sheet going to work?
It's going to be online, and that information will be published as well, so people will be able to go through the online reservation system. Same if you register for a summer fun class or an evening yoga class or something like that. It's the same online reservation system.
All right, the sheet that came out was something different, which would really be...
Was it published by the city and county?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, as I said at the outset tonight, it's going to end at 8:30. I want to get to a couple more questions, but we're going to hang around.
One more question.
Jay, we'll get you.
Why is there only one range on Oahu?
Why is there only one range on Oahu? That's his question.
This range has been in operation since the late 1930s. I don't know why there wasn't another public range built, but we're
Can we
happy
get
to
one
continue
built?
operating. At this point, opening up a new range would be pretty difficult on Oahu, but what we do have on this range is it's fairly large, and it is about...
But people from the North Shore and the West Side and the Central all have to come down here. I don't want to take up any more time, but that's ridiculous, and I think we ought to look into a second range. I have a petition sheet with at least 10 sheets, people that want it. And that was only
Point well taken. We're very aware what's happening on the west side. I hear you about the North Shore. We've got guys in here tonight that want to track out there, which is what we like to do. I don't have an answer for you, but let's begin the conversation. Everything starts with that. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Sir.
Blangie. Hello, my name is Doug. I'm a resident of Honolulu my whole life, 58 years old. Manoa Valley, Roosevelt High School, not Kalani, but when I saw the schedule, I thought, you know what, I better get it because the next one's like, and Kaneohe side. So anyway, this is a homeowner's question. I'm not sure if this is the right place to bring this up, but
ask the question, we'll see.
Okay, I was downtown today, paid my property taxes, and as I was walking back to my car, I saw one of the individuals that's here right now, and this individual was nice enough to listen to my story, and I just said, hey, just curious, you know, if you could help me, I have a question. So I come from a family of 4. Mom died, 10 months later, Dad died, then my brother died about 4 years after that. All of a sudden, me and my daughter, we get this email from my uncle in the mainland. And basically, the lawyer who did my mom and dad's trust, they went ahead and they transferred the deed to my older brother who was obese. And please bear with me because I've been steaming angry for the last 4 or 5 years. These scumbags have flipped my life upside down. And it's just, I need to know, so I asked this individual, who do I go to? You know, who do I go to? I had a lawyer at first, and the lawyer just wanted money.
Okay. Christian happens to be an exceptional lawyer. Okay. He wants to handle this.
Okay.
Honestly, out of respect for you.
Okay.
And it's so personal, we'll probably talk about this offline with Krishna, okay?
Well, I kind of wanted to expose this because what's happening is there's a lot of people that I know that the same thing is happening to them. It's from the lawyer all the way to the judge. And I'm like this close to losing my home. My mom and dad worked so hard for this house. And I'm telling you, I already got my gun permit.
And how is the city...
I don't know.
You don't want to say that.
I didn't...
You don't want to say that.
I'm just trying to say that.
Okay, yeah.
This house is my life.
I understand.
It's over $1 million. And they're doing... This is all illegal what they're doing.
Okay. I'm not sure how the city's involved, but please talk to Krishna.
Okay. What's Chris's name?
Krishna. Krishna.
Now?
Yeah, right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. How about if I say last question of the night, I'm sorry. How about that? I tell you what, I'm not going to disappoint. The lady behind you, you two, and that lady there, I'm sorry, guys. I said we're going to end at 8:30, I'm sorry. We'll stay around. We'll try to answer your questions personally, not for the whole group. Okay? Fair enough? Has to be fair, because I said right at the outset, 2 hours, we're trying to be as good as we can with everybody. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Leonardo. We live down the street. This is my daughter, Isabella. She's a 10th grader here at Kalani.
Hello.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, go Falcons. I'm actually here. I'm a nurse, also a doctoral student at UH. I'm here as my daughter's mom. And I just want you guys to turn around and look at that street. I know it's a state street, but the cars are going around 45 to 50 miles an hour, and kids walk along that just barely 2-3-inch sidewalk along 40-mile-an-hour traffic every day. And there are some kids who are here from the robotics team who are leaving at night. I know most of us drove here because there's a lot of cars and y'all don't live here.
So what is your question?
My question is, what is the city's plan? What is your administration's plan in the short term and in the long term to make traffic safer, to make pedestrian safety a priority for our keiki, for our kūpuna, For those of us who don't drive or cannot drive, what can your administration tell us so we can prevent more tragedies? Because I don't know if any of you guys, I know a few of you guys have taken care of people who've been in motor vehicle collisions, and it's horrible. So what is your administration's plan, short-term and long-term, for the city of Honolulu? Thank you.
I'm going to give you a short answer, but I'm happy to talk after, just in respect of all the other people. In the short, we've had a new awareness, I think, on the island of the need for more pedestrian safety. We've all had wake-up calls. In my department, we have warranted and reviewed 15 different locations where we have speed humps. I probably get 5 or 6 requests a week now for those, whereas we used to get 5 a year, and actually opposition for those types of things. So there is a new awareness in our department. We have revamped our method for dealing with requests, and I'd be happy to take your specific information, but I'm totally sympathetic. I also would say that the highway you're talking about is not it's a state highway. But I mean, my partner at the state, Ed Sniffen, and myself have the philosophy that all streets, all highways are really everybody's streets. And so I think that both the state and the city are on the same page and we're aligned.
Well, let's take this offline, but your question is something we have talked a lot about lately. Not an easy solution, but we're starting to do things that are unprecedented. And you can talk with Roger, okay? Thank you. Yeah.
I just have a quick question. What's the consequence for being on your phone while driving? Because I walk to school, because I live close, along here every single morning. Every single person on their phone. It really, really angers me that I might get killed. I might get killed by a car tomorrow while walking to school. I do not want my friends to be talking at my funeral, okay? I want to live. The only time I wanted to get hit by a car was last Tuesday before I had a math test that I didn't study for. But what is the consequence for...
So to answer your question, I appreciate that you're upset, and I like the fact that you're observant when you walk around, and that's very good. So if you are on your phone and driving, it's about $200. It's a citation. It's a lot of money. Does it work for everything and everybody all the time? No. Does a lot of citations get handed out on this highway out here? Absolutely. There's a lot of citations, hundreds. Not only do we do it, but the traffic division does it, the guys on the motorcycles, right? So they're out there, but when I was your age, we didn't have cell phones, and now everyone has a cell phone. So, you can imagine the enormous job it would be to give everyone, and frankly, if we see it, we cite it. So I don't do mine because $300 or $200 is a lot of money. But continue to be observant when you're walking around.
It needs to be more money. It needs to be more money.
I get it.
It needs to be $1 million.
I get it.
That's not...
All right, Roger, thank you. All right, last question. Thank you for your patience.
My name is Lucinda Piles. I've been a 50-year resident of East Honolulu, Kāhala. I've been on the Wailupe Neighborhood Board multiple times. I'm going to do mine as more statements, because I don't think you have time to answer them. Two are, one is I know there was a Bill 9 a couple of years ago that had to do with empty houses, land banking, so forth. I think that's a concern. I'm not going to ask you what's going on about that because it's probably too long, but I do think that we do need to address all the empty houses when we talk about affordable housing.
We do.
The other that I want to bring up is we think the East Honolulu Sustainability Plan is fantastic. It turns out that our neighborhood board is split in half between the urban development plan, between two plans. And yet we are part of the coastal ecosystem of Moanalua Bay and so forth. We have petitioned the DPP to have the boundary moved so that basically our hupua'a basically is not split. And so we would like to have the support of the city, and I won't go through all the reasons, but anyway, that would be a question, is asking for that.
Well, thank you. Well, we'll take that under advice. I appreciate that. Look, a lot of you have stayed, other people have left. This has been a great event for us. I want to thank you on behalf of our team tonight, your patience. I'm sorry we didn't get to everybody. We're going to be here for about a half an hour. We will talk to you. We will speak to you, but I'm not...
In fairness, Mr. Mayor, you took questions. You spent about 15
15 minutes with a guy from Kalihi, okay? We live in this area. Haiku Stairs.
Go ahead.
No, these people were
Go
in
ahead.
front of me.
Go ahead. We came here to
wanted-
please and learn and help.
Right,
So
but
we don't
they're-
have to get
they
all
have
upset at
town
the end of the
halls in
night.
there. No, because you're cutting us off when you took questions.
I'm not
You
cutting
wasted
anybody
a
off. I
lot-
said we'd be done at 8:30. It's 8:34. Go ahead.
Why were you entertaining questions from people from Kalihi and about Haiku Stairs? Is it Kāhala, Āina Haina, Niu Valley, Hawai Kai?
Point
No,
well
right?
taken.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
All right, so my question may be addressed to Ms. Apuna and also to Chair Waters.
Okay?
What will it take for DPP to develop some sort of definition of what, I guess, is it yard accessories? I'm Jerry Sack. I'm the one who wrote to you about my neighbor who has, for the last 2 years, had an addition to his 6-foot CMU wall. Okay, it was referred to by Mr. Fromer as a dust barrier. That guy is shooting an infrared beam across my driveway into my windows because he's obsessed with spying on his neighbors. He has put up cameras right at that wall, aimed right at my door. He's invading my privacy. It's well documented by the police, and they are actively working with me now to address this. However, you guys give him this loophole where he can have this additional 1.5 to 2 feet along the 55-foot stretch of his CMU wall so that he can conceal himself. He was doing this before he put that up for hours and hours. He's stalking me, and what is it going to take? Chair Waters, how do we resolve this problem with there's no definition so we can't make a finding about it?
So let's get your information and we can see what's happening there, at least from DPP's perspective.
We'll go there
Thank you.
specifically.
Thank
So, for what it's worth, tomorrow, Mike and I are going out to Neva Beach, not that this is of any interest to anybody since you just talked, but we're going out to look at some houses who had complaints like you did when we were out there a couple weeks ago. We finally got it on our schedule. We will follow up. I said that tonight. We will follow up.
Can I make a suggestion, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Because there used to be a prosecutor named Cecilia Chang who handled neighborhood disputes. This is not a neighborhood dispute. It's not a dispute between me and my neighbor. If you look at what's happening in my neighborhood, it is strikingly similar to what happened in Diamond Head. You had neighbors with TROs. HPD lost 2 officers. A woman lost her life. His landlord lost her life. He seriously injured her friend. Okay, what he's doing is strikingly similar.
Okay. I promise you, this is serious stuff. I
And
promise you, I
why
hear you.
can't we have the prosecutor's office have a DPA dedicated
Tell you
to
what,
this
I'll
neighborhood
tell you what, I
type
promise
of
you this.
issue?
I don't know what Steve Arm will do. He's not here tonight. We're going to get your information. I will call Steve tomorrow, and I will ask him to call you. It's the best I can offer.
Thank you very much.
All right?
Appreciate it,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, since I was the last person in line not talking about the rifle range, if I may,
Go ahead.
with the HPD, I know it's addressed, but someone was talking to me. Speeding on the highway, I know is state, but I know that you're dealing with Ed Sniffen and the police department, et cetera. We would love to have red light cams at Kalaniʻole and Āina Koa.
Okay.
Because they are doing 50 miles per hour, if
Yep.
not more, in the 35
And
mile per hour.
you don't have to convince me of that. I know
Residential
that.
zone. So I'm praying you,
Okay.
as our great mayor, will work with the state on that.
Let's see what we can get done on that, because I would tell you, I sign waved out there during the campaign.
I know you did.
I was
right,
blown away at how fast people go by, so I'm not disputing that
right
at all.
outside my house. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll follow up. Thank you.